okay, aap thappad kaise marte ho? You don't slap somebody like that. You take your hand back. Let's say I'm a Man U fan. Man U is not about those 20 footballers who are playing for Man U. All right, what? You Chelsea, Liverpool, what are you? It was not like, commentating. It was like two fans, two cricket guys sitting and watching a game of cricket. That's how you watch. Sitting in your living room, you shout, you cheer, you feel sad when. So I think those emotions were spontaneous, and it just.
Okay, so we want to start off by just talking a little bit about how you got into the sport.
How I got into the sport is, as Rahul mentioned, cricket is huge, right? Everyone wants to play the sport. Everyone wants to play for the country. And I'm the 83 generation, right? Where we just had won the World Cup and everyone was talking about cricket and the World Cup, Kapil Paji, Sunny Sir. And so it was natural for me to pick up the sport like any other kid. But then what happened was my elder brother was an athlete. So he was he was a Delhi state champion. So he would go for his practice and he's like 9 years elder to me. So I was too small then. So what used to happen was my mom used to take me along for the practice and I was too young for 3 years. What do I do? So I started with gymnastics and then because I had no interest in gymnastics. So I used to go to the cricket field and stand outside and watch the kids play and all that. So one day the coach said, you know what, why don't you come and join cricket, forget gymnastics and all. And that's how I got into systematic cricket, organized and systematic. And then one thing led to the other, and before I realized I was in it neck deep, and it just kind of sucks you in, and it just happened that way.
Lovely.
I would actually want to ask you, what are the hurdles that you faced when you decided that you wanted to make your profession or your passion, being a part of cricket?
Right. Again, it wasn't a straightforward decision because in sports, what happens is every time we step on the field, it's an examination, right? One day you get 100, the other day you get a 0. So it's a great leveler as well. So that way we keep facing hurdles or challenges, and also because it's a team sport. So getting selected is a big thing, and getting selected is not in my hands. It's in the hands of the selectors. He might not like my face or the way I look or the way I walk. I don't know. Why would he pick me and all that? So there are a lot of uncontrollables in sports, and especially team sports. But what happened was, it was, I have not me, my family has an academic background in terms of my elder brother is a CA, my father's a CA. So my parents were very, very clear about this, that the minimum that you have to do is graduation. So, and you're only allowed to play the sport as long as you don't neglect your studies completely. I'm not saying I was very good at it, but I was average, through school, through college, I was average. Then what happened was when I was in second year, second or third year, I guess, of college, I played for Bengal. I got 100 on my debut. And after that, I got enrolled to CA. So I gave my CA foundation. And then my parents said, you know what, cricket and CA can't go together. Try MBA. So I was like, all right. So I kind of started my preparation for CATS. And then Ranji Trophy happened, then India A happened, and things kept moving. And then slowly I realized, you know what, I can't do this. Even though when I look back now, I think I should have. I think if I was motivated enough, I would have found time to get my higher education as well. But I don't know. I took the easy way out and went into sports.
So I don't think going into sports is any easy way out. I mean, the way you say it, it's so nonchalant. But us, we who want to go up for higher studies, I trade, going into sports any day.
That's true. I've got to give a lot of credit to my family for kind of not making it an issue, because it can be I won't say an issue. It can be a challenge, kind of getting your parents on side with you getting into sports, because end of the day, these are pre-IPL times. These are times when cricket was glamorous, was famous, but didn't have enough money. All right, and the money would be only for, let's say, the 10, 11 guys who play for the country. So at that point in time, Ranji Trophy player would earn, per game. When I started off, was 1,500 rupees a game, and you play what, 8 games a season, so you won't even make a lakh. So it wasn't a realistic career option back then. But what happened was I got a job. I got a job in railways because of cricket. So, that was kind of settling in a way. Obviously, it wasn't a well-paid job. It was like whatever it was, but at least there was some kind of security there. And that's that. Because the other thing, I never thought of not pursuing studies later. I always thought, you know what, I'm going to give a break to studies right now. Let's focus on cricket, because at that point in time, I was playing for India A. I was in the fringes. So okay, I'm going to take a break for 2-3 years, and I'm going to, if this doesn't work out, I'll come back to studies. But it never happened. Fortunately, unfortunately, it did not happen. So that's how it is. But the challenges are many, and especially for now it is a lot easier because parents are a lot more open to it, because they realize and they see the other cricketers or even the other sports person, not just cricketers, them making money. It's become an industry now. It's not just about the cricketers themselves, not just about the players, but there is this ecosystem which is created now, and I think it's definitely a career option now.
Right. So you mentioned that you scored a debut against Baroda, I think, during your Ranji Trophy debut. And how can you describe a little bit how is the feeling, scoring a century right off the bat?
It was, obviously, the first 5-10 minutes were crazy, because what happened was we fielded first. So I didn't bat first. I was on the field. That kind of helps you ease your nerves a bit, because once you start playing, then you forget what level you're playing, where you're playing, and all that, right? So because you're into the game, you're thinking about the game and you're focusing on the game. So I think that was an advantage. And then what happened was when I got into bat, the first 5-10 minutes, obviously there are these, n number of questions, whether you're ready for this level, are you good enough, blah, blah, blah. But after 5-10 minutes of surviving that, you're like, I can do this, I can handle this. Because you don't know what level that is, because, it's a level higher. So once I was there for 10 minutes, like, okay, I can do this. And then once you start believing in yourself, I think then, the whole game changes then. And that's what happened. And I was like, okay, let's take one step at a time, 10 runs at a time. And then it just went on and on and on. And to be honest, I just love batting. I don't do that now, but I used to love batting. For me, batting was not about scoring runs. Batting was just being there, enjoying the ball, hitting the bat, the competition. It was never about the runs for me. I just loved it, so I just did it.
Yeah, that's so. Cricketers are actually, like we said, cricket is a huge sport in India. Somewhere, I think cricketers are also considered gods in India, because of the fact that the sport is so illustrious. So can you shed a little light on what de-glamorized cricket? So like you said that in the 80s or maybe the 90s, cricket was really glamorous, but it didn't have that much money. So where do you see the sport right now in the world?
I think the sport has become, like I said, an industry now. Like any other sport. Look at basketball, look at NBA, look at Major League Baseball, look at football. It's not just about playing, it's about its livelihood, it's a profession, and it has an ecosystem. So for example, let's say I'm a Man U fan. Man U is not about those 20 footballers who are playing for Man U. All right, what, you Chelsea, Liverpool, what are you?
City.
Oh my God, I'm a Man U fan.
She's
He's
not
a Man
so.
City.
So she's not a Man United fan. She's not so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the idea is it's not just about the players. It's also about the ecosystem around it. So that's where I think the game has developed into. It is only going to get bigger. I'm very hopeful that at this point in time in India, it's predominantly cricket, but the other sports are also developing. For example, football is developing a lot. Kabaddi is a great success story. So you have the other things coming in as well, and that's where I think that is where the game is. Sorry, one second. That's where the game is going, and I'm glad, because end of the day, I mean the whole uh, those days are gone. I mean, amateurish days are gone. Whatever you choose to do, you have to be professional in it. The whole approach has to be professional. So the concept of being an amateur is gone for good.
Right. So from a cricketer to a commentator is a shift that
Yeah.
we see some people make. How
Yeah.
is that
Give me a
experience?
second. Just give me a second. Huh? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that when you go from cricketing to commentating, that's something that we've seen a couple of people make. How has that whole experience been? Do you think that since you've played games, you know the sport very well? Obviously, that's a requirement for commentating, but that helps you on the mic. What if a person does not have prior first-class cricketing experience and wants to be
Yeah.
a commentator?
Uh, See, I think I've got the best job in the world. I mean, all my life I've played the sport. I mean, I would have anyways spoken about the sport even if I was not on the mic or on air. But the best part is I get to watch cricket, sitting in an air-conditioned room, talking about it, and talking with my role models. People that I've looked up to and I've idolized growing up. Someone like Sunny Sir, Kapil Paji, as I mentioned, Sanjay Manjrekar, Lakshman Shivramakrishnan, and friends, apart from the idols, friends like VVS and Akash and everyone else, Viru and all that. I mean, it's the best job in the world. It can't get better than this. I mean, and obviously you travel the world and you get paid for it.
So as fans, we're often at the edge of our seats when a match is really close.
Yeah.
I remember this one time. I mean, all the atheists begin to pray, fingers crossed. This is very normal with us. So I remember this one time during the T20 World Cup. We were watching it. I think it was me and my grandfather only, and you and Sehwag sir were commentating. It was the last over against the Bangladesh match.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, considering we won from one run, what was it like sitting there and talking about?
It's crazy. So what happens is, I mean, generally with me, what happens is, uh, I kind of picture myself on the field, so I picture myself there. So it helps me to think, right? So what would I do if I were the batsman, or if I were the bowler, or if I were the keeper? What would I do? Uh, and it was such an exciting game, and it was just crazy. So, and obviously Viru is like that, and we go back when we were 17, 18 or whatever. So we just, I don't know. I mean, we weren't bothered who's listening to us. It was like two friends watching a game on television, sitting in their living rooms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was like that. It was not like commentating. It was like two fans, two cricket guys sitting and watching a game of cricket. That's how you watch. Sitting in your living room, you shout, you cheer, you feel sad when. So I think those emotions were spontaneous, and and I mean, I honestly did not realize what had happened, but we had fun. We had a ball. Me and Viru had a ball. Then the next morning, I started getting messages. It was like, "Oh, it was great." I was like, "What was so great?" Both of us were shouting. Did you guys even make out a word we said? We said, "No, it was great. The energy was great." I was like, "Oh, brilliant! Oh, that works." But to be honest, it wasn't planned at all. We both of us were in it, in the game, in that moment, and we just went off the hook.
right. So we've read a couple of your interviews. We've seen a few of them. And there's always this conversation that you have in the difference between talent and hard work.
Yeah.
You call it hunar and hard work.
Hmm.
I forgot what hard work
Yeah.
is. But so
Yeah.
what do you think matters more, talent or hard work?
See, talent will only take you to a certain extent, right?
Right.
So let's say if you're playing first class cricket, obviously you have talent to play at that level. So it is taken for granted that you have those basic talent, right? Not everyone plays first class cricket, right? So what takes you from talent to the next level is your hard work. Because,
Right.
one of the most talented people are the most hardworking as well. I mean, people say about Sachin being, one of the most talented and all. But personally, I've seen him. He's the most hardworking as well. It's not just about talent. I mean, you wake him up at 3 a.m. in the morning and ask him whether he wants to play cricket, he'll say yes. So, so I think hard work for me, and what happens is talent is something that is in you, but the whole purpose is to harvest what is in you, and you can only harvest it through hard work. No, hard and smart work. So my point is, it's not just about having talent, because listen, all my life, and I've said this before as well, I can't remember being part of a team where I was the most talented. I've never been the most talented because it's not in my hand. I can't control it. Talent is something that is, I've got it or I don't have it. It's just there or not there. I don't have the talent to be an astronaut. I mean, I can try whatever I want to, but I can't be an astronaut. Right. So the point is, talent is something that I can't control. But what I can control is the hard work, is how hard I work. I can control that. How smartly I work, I can control that. So I can't think of talent which something that I can't control. So I can only think about or assess and work on something I can control, which is hard work. And that's what it is. And like I said, I've over what, 25, 30 years, I've seen more talented people than me just fall by the wayside because they weren't hardworking enough. As simple as that. Definitely more talented than me.
Right.
Lovely. So, final question. We won't keep you too
Yeah.
long. So, I mean, what would you recommend if we had to be like how to become a cricketer? A 3-4 step guide. So, how would you summarize those 3-4 steps on that everybody should go through in their journey to become a
Okay.
cricketer?
As far as cricket, I will not kind of compartmentalize, because, like I said, if you have the talent, you play the sport or you play badminton, tennis.
Right.
If you have that basic talent, right, you will get in there. So let's take for granted that you have the basic talent, whatever field you want to do, whether it's being a doctor, engineer, sports person, astronaut, mechanic, whatever. Uh, so now the next few things are common for everything else. For example, hard work along with smartness, right? Just working hard does not help. You have to be smart about how you work. Then dedication, discipline. These are things which are a must to be successful, irrespective of which field you choose. Uh, these are the non-negotiables. These you can't negotiate with, irrespective of whether you're talented or not. But these are I mean, like I said, I mean, these 4-5 points would be absolute basic, because obviously I mean, our viewers here, it's not just about cricket. I'm just generalizing and saying whatever field you choose. And my dad used to say one thing, which I honestly believe is, try and be the best in whatever you do. Even if you have to rob the bank, you have to be a robber. Be the best robber. So be the best you can, because you can't be perfect. Nobody is perfect, but it's about the journey towards perfection, right? And especially for us in India, I think one of our strength is also a weakness. It's a double-edged sword or a kryptonite, whatever you want to call it, is this chalta hai attitude. You've heard the word chalta hai, or jugaad, we say a jugaad hai, because it only creates mediocrity. If you're ready to kind of cut corners, and so you will get by. That's the whole idea of jugaad and chalta hai attitude, is you will get by, but you will not achieve perfection, or you will not get anywhere near perfection. You will not be specializing in anything. So if you have to be successful, you have to get rid of that concept, at least in your field, that attitude, that jugaad attitude and that chalta hai attitude. Chalta nahi hai, right? If you want to be good at something, chalta nahi hai. Chalta hai would be only for mediocrity. If you're happy with mediocrity, good luck to you, right? But that attitude needs to change.
Okay, thank you so much.